Howdy everyone, and welcome back to Royville in 4-color one-shot. My name is Stefan, and without further ado, let's get into this issue. The one I have for you today is Justice League Dark, Volume 2, Number 1. This one was written by James Tynion IV, and the art is by Alvaro Martinez Bruno. Sorry if I'm totally butchering that name. So let's get into the story. So this is the very first issue of Volume 2, and it starts with Zatanna having a magical show. Things are starting to go wrong. Rabbit out of the hat becomes an eldritch horror. She's trying to save everybody as everyone's running and screaming, and then Wonder Woman shows up to save the day to help out. She wants to enlist Zatanna into a new team, maybe a new Justice League for magic users. Something's going on. Magic's all sorts of wonky. And Wonder Woman wants to find out why. Zatanna, not really wanting to be with Wonder Woman or the light heroes, the public heroes, so she turns her down. Then we see Zatanna going to Wintersgate Manor, where a bunch of the magical heroes of the DC Universe are coming together to figure out what's happening, because I guess on a global scale, magic is starting to not be very reliable. And I think it's Jason Blood, who is the mortal host of Etrigan the Demon, is kind of running this meeting. And says, we all have to band together, we all have to be unified, even though we usually aren't. We're kind of loners by necessity. There's some opposition to that. The heroes or villains allied with Hell and the ones allied with the Silver City Heaven don't seem to want to get along a little bit. And that really isn't going very well. Also, it does appear that Jason's saying that they need to work on this themselves. They can't go to the light heroes. This is a problem for those in the shadows. I guess the magic community of the DC universe, not the light public heroes like Superman, Wonder Woman, and that lovable fun guy Batman, I guess. While this is going on, Zatanna is showing up to the party, and there is a great scene where she sees Constantine outside. She's like, "You're not going in?" He says, "Well, I wasn't invited." For some reason, they think that he's just a con artist, and they didn't invite him to their little meeting, their little club. I thought the scene was really well written. I was a little sad that that is the only time we see Constantine in the issue, especially if the whole thing's about Justice League Dark and magic dying. Then we go to Wonder Woman going to a place called the Oblivion Bar. It's an extra dimensional bar for magic people and supernaturals. And there's really almost nobody there. Drinking at the bar is Bobo, Detective Chimp, and I don't know if you could see him right there. I love this character. I really thought that the scene he had with Wonder Woman was really good. Kind of reminded me the way Tynion is writing him. Kind of a bitter Humphrey Bogart back in the day, when he was doing all those noir movies. I really enjoyed it. Wonder Woman, not understanding why nobody wants to join her little group, is kind of lamenting that and saying that, you know, this is really, really big. We have to figure out what's going on here. And Bobo decides, well, you know, let's go figure it out. She's like, you're coming with me? He's like, yeah, they don't call me Detective Chimp Lady for nothing. A fun scene. Then when that is all wrapped up, we go back to Zatanna, and she is in the meeting with the other supernatural characters of the DC universe, and she sees kind of a little eye, almost like a little augury tube popping out of a planter. And she knows exactly who that is, and she's a little annoyed. It's the Swamp Thing. So she goes and she tracks down the Swamp Thing, and he's in Salem, Massachusetts. I guess in a previous story, which I had not read, I might try to hunt it down. There is a large tree of wonder, or the wonder tree, or the tree of wonder. It's kind of this large, beautiful, almost Yggdrasil-esque tree with lights, and it's a magic of some sort. Swamp Thing reveals that something's going on, and that when the source wall, the thing that wraps, encompasses, and kind of guards all of creation, almost a godlike entity in and of itself, the source wall was cracked. It started to leak something into our world, our universe, and I found that really intriguing. And that it's going to be the end of all things. Very interesting. So, we don't know where the Swamp Thing stands at that point, but he does say that this is a bigger issue than the light heroes and the dark heroes. Something is happening, and everyone must kind of rise up and help out. Interesting enough, the tree decides to speak to Zatanna in the form of a flaming avatar of her deceased father. Very interesting. He says that this is what I trained you for, Zatanna, that this event could be the end of all things. That, and let me look at my notes here because I don't want to get this wrong, that the original owners of magic, the other kind, are coming. And their avatar, the Upside Down Man, will be here soon. The Upside Down Man, Tinian, you killed it on a name. Very, very interesting, and I'm kind of digging it. So with that, we go to Wonder Woman and Bobo, Diana and Bobo. It's kind of weird. I see him more as Bobo as Detective Chimp, but so Wonder Woman and Detective Chimp go to the Hall of Justice, which I guess the basement was given over to allow Justice League Dark to kind of have their own clubhouse. So they're in the basement of the Justice League's Hall of Justice, which I thought was kind of funny. And down there is Dr. Langstrom. And if you know who Dr. Langstrom is, he's the villain of Batman known as Man-Bat. He's working for the government now. And he's working for the Justice League to try to make amends for the things that he's done in his past. And he's been able to modify his serum that makes him Man-Bat so that he's basically human, but he has bat-like abilities in the face, and he kind of looks like a bat in the face, but he keeps his intellect. So he's been looking and helping by doing some experiments and stuff on cadavers. And it gets really interesting when the cadavers start to wake up. Not only do they start to wake up, but they become eldritch horrors. Wonder Woman kind of looks at the other two and says, "You must go. I will take care of this. I do not want you to die with me." Cool moment for her. Another cool moment, she's basically like, "Doc, I'm going to have you put on your game face. Can you be a little more threatening?" And so he shoots himself up with the original Man-Bat serum. Everything looks bleak for our three heroes. However, at the very end, they are aided with the arrival of the teleportation in of Swamp Thing and Zatanna. And they say that, and Zatanna says to Wonder Woman, "We must figure this out because I've been told that all of this is because of one of us." And that's where the comic ends. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really like what they're doing with these Justice League Dark characters. They showed a lot of characters in this issue, but I think this is probably going to be our main team. Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing, Zatanna, Detective Chimp, and Man-Bat. So I'm really interested to see where that goes. I do want to give, usually I only talk about the writer and the artist, but I do want to give an honorable mention to the inker, Raul Hernandez, and the colorist, Brad Anderson. They made this look great. I really liked the pencils on this, but the way the inks make everything kind of dark and the colors that were used just give this a very, very good atmosphere. It's kind of moody, kind of dark. I love the introduction of Constantine, where it's just in the forefront, it's Zatanna, and in behind, you see this little flick, and he's lighting his smoke, and all you see is just the flame of the light. Really well done. I hope this whole team of 4 continues with this, and I'd like to keep seeing where this goes. All right, well, that's been my one shot for this moment, and I really hope you enjoyed it. And just remember, keep reading, everybody. Thanks.